Mic check 1 2. Ladies and gentlemen, going live. On all the platforms. Trying to, at least. I haven't gone live like this in a long time. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes, the sexy, the not so sexy, big children and little. Just wanted to say a few things. Let's see. Facebook is acting a fool. Let's see. Oh boy. Facebook. Facebook. You won't do it, will you? You won't do it, will you? There's a lot going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes, and I'm not really necessarily saying a whole bunch. Let's see what Facebook wants. I mean, it's a million passcodes, bro. And Facebook is constantly telling me people upload that I don't rock with at all. I don't even know what that even means. Right? Okay. All right. Well, I'm live over there. So let's go back over here and let's get to talking. Oh, Instagram is somehow disconnected. Anyway, let's run right through it. First off, there's a lot of people on the internet. A lot of people on the internet talking. A lot of people are saying things that might not necessarily be true, or they're speaking from a certain point of view. And that might get you to wonder what gives said person authority to speak on these things, right? Well, who are you to even be having a conversation about this particular thing and you don't know? There are a ton of people just saying stuff. And as soon as they get challenged, as soon as somebody presents an alternative view perspective, point of view, whatever, right? Another set of eyes. Hey, this is how I see it. Everybody is arguing to win and not necessarily arguing to understand. What makes me an authority on anything that I talk about tonight is just life experience. And that's just it. I am a master of some disciplines, and I'm not so master in other disciplines. But speaking as a person of color who survived New York in the 80s and survived Reagan, I've seen some things, right? And being a person of faith, why not give my opinion on certain things? Not too bad with the verses, writer, MC, lyricist, all of that jazz. So I figured I'd put some words together for you. But enough of that. What are we expected to do? Okay. ICE, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Let's give yourself a scenario. You get pulled over, or you get stopped, whether you be in your car or not, or you're just on foot. What are you supposed to do? You tell these guys, "I'm an American citizen," right? You tell these guys, "Hey," you may even have on your work badge, right? May you know what I mean? And what if these guys are just the vibe is just off. What if you just know that this is not going to go well? What do you do? Do you resist? Do you comply? Do you run? And are you okay because you could possibly die during this exchange? Are you ready to give your life? Because you find yourself going to Safeway, Kroger, Target, Walmart, wherever, Chipotle. These guys got the checkpoint going on. Most of us, I figure 99.99999% of us would just go in the other direction. I ain't messing with no police that I can avoid, right? Um, but that's neither here nor there. First off, as far as these 2 people that died, I think it's in Minnesota, right? You had the woman who got shot in the face, and you have, I believe this guy was a school teacher with a license to carry, his had his pistol not drawn, he was just filming dudes, and and somehow he gets shot a number of times, probably 9 times too many, right? Why are weapons drawn? What are we trying to do? Why are the why are weapons even drawn? These guys are making up these false narrative arguments saying, "Why would you bring a gun to a protest?" It is my it is every one of us in this particular country's right to bear arms. So if you want to carry a pistol to the Piggly Wiggly, that's your right, okay? Why are guns even drawn? Why are we just prepared to de kill trying to deport? What are all of these dangerous immigrants out here? E I grew up in New York. I didn't see any of these guys. Where are these guys at? Lived in at least a half a dozen states in the United States in my lifetime. I have not met all of these violent immigrants you guys are talking about. What's going on? Okay, why are the guns even out? Okay? Let me tell you something. When you get pulled over, when police pull me over, they have a lot of information already. As soon as they run your plate, they know who the owner of the car is. They know if the license and registration are current. They know if the person who owns the car is actually behind the wheel of the car. They know if you've got warrants. They know if you've got a felon. They know if you've got insurance. So there's no detective police work better than a stop and frisk available to figure out where the dangerous immigrants are at. Really? You know what I mean? I think under Joe Biden's presidency, I believe quite a few people were deported. I don't have a number for you, but I know this is a fact. Under Barack Obama, there were a lot of people deported, more than the current administration, and no one had to result to any stop and frisk. So what happens? Um, Too many American citizens show their ID only for the ICE agents to be like, "I don't care." So what are we expected to do? I don't trust the powers that be. They obviously wanna are trying to get a response. I just don't know what that response is, because the only thing that we really seems the only viable option here is to overthrow the government. That is really what they're it seems like they're begging us to at least try, but I don't know if this ends without being messy. You follow what I'm saying? Like, okay, they're really poking the bear. It really seems like I don't know the response they're looking for. Some people hypothesize that they just wanna put us over the edge so they can implement martial law and have military in the streets. And this makes sense because, of course, I know the military industrial complex needs to start wars so that they can fund them, right? It's pretty hard to have the single largest military force. The second biggest military is only is not even half the size of the US military, all right? So to justify the spending let me see who came with it. That's ICE official number to call to report illegals. Um, okay, whatever that means, and man, I lost my freaking train of thought. I don't know what kind of response these guys are looking for. I really don't know what they're looking for, but if they if do they truly want us to get our to weaponize and start a war? Are they really willing? Are they so willing to fund the U.S. military that they would provoke the American citizen into some sort of civil war so that citizens could fight other citizens who just so happen to be a part of the military? Does that sound right? It sounds like it doesn't make sense, but why else are they doing it? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm connecting dots that I shouldn't be connecting. I don't know. What I do know is I know China has bought military debt, which means they own us figuratively and literally. So how if this is how the Western world falls, because we ran up America ran up debt that it just simply can't repay. And then you get old Agent Orange in there, and he really is trying to kind of bankrupt the country by making all of these making himself rich and making policy decisions that take money out of the American citizen's pocket, puts it into his pocket. Seems like they're trying to hoard money for something that's going to happen. And if America is not well, America is not number 1, but if America is not number 1 and China is a new number 1 and the US dollar is no longer the currency, and it's the freaking it's whatever China's using, right? I wanna say the yen, but I wanna say that's not accurate. Then what are we expected to do, okay? This is a real tough dilemma, especially for anybody of any color, of any gender be damned, because it was a chick that got shot in the face. What do? You try to get in your car and go away, they'll probably shoot up the freaking car, right? You comply, right? If they think you're a threat, they comply, they search you. You got a pistol or a knife, they take the pistol, they take the knife, and they shoot you in cold blood. You run away, They say you was trying to run them over and they shoot you anyway, when they coulda just ran your plate and figured out who was in the car. I don't know what they are trying to do. What are they trying to do? But more importantly, what are we expected to do? The last guy, he was just filming these guys. He's like, "Okay, look, peacefully protest. I'm going to do this. I'm just gonna watch you guys, and everything you guys do is going to be recorded by my phone." Pepper spray to the face. That's what you get for just observing these guys. What are we expected to do? We can't be running and hiding and just staying inside of your house thinking they won't bust your door down at some point to come and get you is absurd, alright? These guys are actually and obviously so bold that you could shoot a Caucasian woman in the face from about 3 different camera angles, and the president could see it, and he'd be like and he's gonna look in the face of every American that's looking back at him through television and say, "She was a terrorist," or whatever the f he said. This what are we expected to do? What is the end game? I don't know. I wish I knew. I don't really know. But this first off, I hate to say I told you so, but a lot of you people that will stumble upon this live is may think of Colin Kaepernick in a positive light or in a negative light. When a greater part of America really felt that this dude just taking a knee because he's like, "Look, I'm gonna protest silently by taking a knee, and I, Colin Kaepernick, are just going to silently protest police brutality." These police are going too far, and a lot of America, not all of us, but a lot of America was just like, "You just shut your freaking face. You get paid too much money in the NFL. You get paid too much money in the NFL to even be worried about any of that stuff." Like, what? The mistake we make as human beings and is being complicit and thinking somehow evil has boundaries. We be freaking thinking that evil only stays in a certain box. Only evil happens to evil people. It's some bullshit that most people believe. People believe that if you know a corrupt cop, or if one good cop sees a bad cop do bad things and just doesn't say shit, that somehow that complicitness of the good cop or the person who didn't say anything, somehow that complicitness eradicates you of any wrongdoing, when in reality, the person who doesn't say anything is more wrong than the freaking person advocated for whatever wickedness he or she was doing. Most of y'all, within the sound of my voice, thinks that evil is just gonna stay in a box. That's how we got in this predicament in the first place. Y'all knew the orange mofo was dirty as hell. And some of y'all was just like, "Well, businessman, Who believed that lie? I do not know. But he's a good businessman. So, what America needs is a businessman to run America like a business. Okay. How did that work out for you? Okay. Or those guys is just like, oh, I like him because of his policies, as if evil will stay in this little box so he could hang out, with his pedophile homie, you know what I mean? And have all kinds of secrets, mistresses and porn stars and all of that jazz. And somehow all of this wickedness is just going to stay contained. And he's just going to put on the Boy Scout badge and hat of honor when it comes to running the United States. He's going to run the United States. He may have a hellified party. He might party with Diddy on Saturdays and Sundays, but Monday through Friday, he's all about good old American values. Who be believing that? You follow what I'm saying? I don't understand it. People do. But anyway, did I miss any points that I was trying to make? I already said the US dollar will not be the world's currency. So I have to wonder if is this feats of folly, this whole freaking circus, this whole charade, because it's all smoke and mirrors. What they're showing you is deliberate. So when they show you good people being gunned down, and then the president coming right on after, you saw somebody get gunned down in high definition and say, "Oh, they were wicked people," with a straight face. They are deliberately trying to get a response from you. And you're trying to get a response from me too. But on the grand scheme, what I, for the life of me, can't figure out is what are we expected to do? What is the end game? And I don't want to listen to what they want us to do, right? Because I feel like we're being herded like cattle, to be honest with you. And all of this smoke and mirrors bullshit. So they really didn't see that. They could really just shoot a soccer mom or whatever in the face, and everybody just like, cool. I think we're too far gone as it is. You go to work, even though there's life freaking struggles going on that affects all of us. Nobody at work wants to talk about it. How are we supposed to get over this if we don't have a dialogue? The corporate forces who own the places where we work at are just like, we're not going to be talking about politics and religion at work. So they have muted your ability to organize. If I spoke like this at my job, I don't have to speak like this at my job. I got a podcast. Fuck, I got to talk about this at work for when I come here and run my freaking trap, right? However, not having at least a mild conversation about it in the workplace where most of us spend our day, where most of us see coworkers more than we see even family members from time to time, right? Okay. We're not going to have the dialogue. We can't collectively have collective wisdom. We can't tackle these problems. We don't have to start a riot at work, but somebody or a group of smart somebodies could probably brainstorm a solution. But if those voices are muted by design, what are we expected to do. I'm not advocating for violence. I'm not advocating that we every anybody with a pistol go outside and do this, that, or the third. I'm just saying is that it seems as if I pay attention to these images on the screen that keep getting propagated to us, are we expected to just overthrow the government? Is that what y'all want us to try and do? Are you sure that's what you want? What if we succeed? That would be glorious. I wonder what the new government would look like. Hopefully, there would not be a whole bunch of payola and infinite money being poured in. But what are we expected to do? What are you gonna do when you see your first ICE agent standing in between you and where you're trying to be? Are you going to comply? Are you going to resist? Are you going to run? Or are you going to die? Good night, folks.